What's up, everybody? I just wanted to go ahead and give a shout out to Butthole Pins on Instagram and Etsy. I will go ahead and link the account. And I just absolutely love all three of these. We have the Fog, Halloween, and it's a little hard to see, but this one is the thing. And yeah, that's Butthole Pins. Again, I will link the account, and just a big shout out. Thank you so much. What's up, everybody? This is Freddy, and we're back in my horror corner. I hope you're all having a great day, great week, sending nothing but positive vibes and energy out there. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and like and subscribe if you're interested in this type of content. I review found footage movies, absolutely love them, and I'm just barely starting. I'm here for the long haul, hopefully, unless something happens. And I just want to let you guys all know that this is a passion of mine, and I absolutely love reviewing these movies. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into Stephen Cognetti's 2015 House LLC. Or as I like to call it, Hell House, because I'm not going to call it House LLC every time. So this movie is made by Cognetti Films and distributed by Terror Films. They've distributed a lot of movies. Some of my favorites of theirs are Taking of Deborah Logan. They distributed Be My Cat, a film for Anne, which is absolutely amazing. If you haven't already, go ahead and check this out. It's just a great fucking Romanian movie, English language, and very effective, very psychological. Absolutely love it. And as well as Terror Films distributed another movie I like called Pool Party Massacre. If you haven't either, go ahead and look into that one. Fucking rad movie. So yes, this movie actually started pre-production in 2011 when I was doing some research, and apparently they asked them, hey, how would you feel about writing a movie with a haunted house gone wrong, but as in a slasher? And he said, fuck yeah, I'm going to write this, but in paranormal. And they were just like, okay, go for it. And this guy, apparently, the director, is a big fan of found footage movies. And you can really tell. Honestly, it shows in this movie. It's very well crafted, I believe. It's a good story. And overall, an incredibly effective movie. So the story follows a journalist who is seeking the truth about an event that happened 5 years ago with a group of friends who run and operate a haunt every year called Hell House. And on opening night, some type of malfunction happened, and 15 people some disappeared, some were killed and mutilated, type of thing. It was very shrouded in mystery. The cops covered it up very fast. It was very hush-hush for some reason. And she's essentially just trying to figure out what happened that night. She's interviewing people that either wrote books on it. She interviews a photographer who broke into the hotel afterwards, the haunted house hotel, and took pictures of what people thought was a malfunction. After these pictures came out, it didn't feel like that at all. It felt very sinister. There was blood everywhere. There's things about this hotel that just scared the shit out of me. In the basement, he takes a picture. He won't even go down in the basement, this photographer. And that just shows you right there how fucking terrifying this place must be. So she is contacted, this journalist, by an ex-member of the Hell House team, Sarah, who has been MIA the entire time, apparently. She says that she's been with friends or family, just kind of hiding low from all the chaos and stuff like that. And she hands the journalist a bag of tapes because the Hell House crew taped everything that from them arriving to the opening night where that shit went down. And it's in here where we have our story of this journalist, like I said, seeking the truth about what happened that night at the Abaddon Hotel. Now, what's really interesting about this story is I love that it's told in like two different perspectives. The first perspective we get is a mockumentary style movie, and throughout it toggles between mockumentary and found footage. But the first half is very strong mockumentary. We get a series of interviews by an author, We get the photographer that I just named. We get some eyewitnesses from that night. There's a YouTube recording. There's a 911 call. It's very weird because none of it's making sense to what they are trying to cover it up as. They're saying it's a malfunction, but in the 911 call, there's a girl saying something about it's coming from the walls. I don't want to die, and it's just very eerie and creepy. And I don't even like thinking about it. But I love that it's told in those two perspectives, because then when the journalist gets the tapes, that's where we start essentially the movie of these 5 friends who run and operate the Hell House. And I absolutely love them as a group, their chemistry and their banter, everything about them. When they were all together, it worked very well. It was very effective. It's a little slow at the beginning, with the mockumentary stuff. So I personally don't mind that. It's like the first act of the movie, I would say, is like a mockumentary style. The second act of the movie is when we get the footage of the tapes. And the last part is basically to wrap up with the journalist. And I mean, it's fucking effective. And I love it. I want to just share this with everybody. It's a very well-known movie in the subgenre, I feel like. But there's still people that haven't even heard of it. I myself, there's movies that I'm finding every day that I haven't heard of. So we have quite a few characters in the movie, and I'm going to say right now one of my dislikes of this movie is probably the characters individually, except for one, and maybe some of the people that are interviewed. But for the most part, like the 5 friends, there's only one that I really cared about. One that kind of just gave off some emotion. And we have Alex, who is played by Danny Bellini. He is the one in charge. We have Paul, who's played by Gore Adams. He's the cameraman, pretty much filming all the behind-the-scenes stuff. They mentioned that the reason they're filming is for behind-the-scene footage for either their website, or they're trying to use this footage for next year to see what they can improve on, which I feel like is a pretty justifiable reason why to continuously film. We have Sarah, played by Ryan Jennifer. We have the other 2 friends, Mac, played by Adam Schneider, and Tony, played by Jared Hacker. And like I said, these are the 5 friends that we follow: Alex, Paul, Sarah, Mac, and Tony. And the only one that I really liked was freaking Paul. Like, seriously, he's the only one that I could fucking relate to. He's the only one that gave off emotion. I mean, he's the only one that gets tormented. I feel for him every time with his scenes with the clowns. He's like the first one to start noticing that things are going like bad. And everybody else just falls flat for me. They either are a little bland or just not enough emotion in scenes. At least with the 5 friends. Alex, he does the character Alex, he does okay. There's some scenes where I feel like there is some emotion, where he's arguing with a couple friends a few times, but other than that, everybody's just very generic. We also have the journalist, who we're following throughout the beginning and the one interviewing everybody, and at the end of the movie. Diane, played by Alice Graves. She interviews, I think, like 2 people that I could really remember. We have this, and he was the other person that I liked that she interviewed. He just seemed like a cool guy, like an interesting guy. I could have probably listened to this guy talk like forever. But we have Robert Lyons, who was an author in the movie, played by Theodore. I don't know if I say your last name right, or I'm sorry, dude. Theodore Balukos. And then we have the guy that took the photographs. His name is Martin Cliver, and he's played by Jeb Krager. So with these people, the journalist, she's just a basic journalist. There's nothing that stands out about this character at all. The same with the guy the photographer. He's just nothing for me personally. Just feels very bland, and there's nothing much to flesh out. And the only person I kind of felt that was charismatic was the Robert Lyons guy. I don't know, he was an actor that I didn't look too much into, but I just felt like he just presented himself a lot more genuine than the other people she interviewed. But by far, my favorite is freaking Paul, and I just hate that he ends up. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything now, but there will be spoilers. But so my biggest likes of the movie, I would say, its mockumentary is its strongest aspect of the movie. If it was just like a found footage movie or something, it probably would be just okay. It'd be just, I don't know. It'd be the fact that it's a mockumentary found footage movie, I feel is so strong because, in my opinion, as much as I love found footage movies, mockumentary movies I feel more real, genuine, realistic. They just bring this overall sense of, I don't know how to explain it. If you just, but yes, and I fucking love that it's a mockumentary first and foremost, and then we go into the found footage aspect, but which isn't bad. It's also a slow burn. I really like that. I don't mind as long as it pays off, which I feel like it personally does. The ending feels a little cheesy, and I'll get into that, but overall, fuck yeah, dude. If you're just patient enough, you will enjoy this movie. At least I think. As well as, it's not over the top. It's not, I mean, they probably want it to be. They just didn't have the budget, but I love that it's not. It's very just subtle, and it scares. It doesn't jump right at you. It doesn't do anything like that. It just takes its time. There's scenes with these fucking clowns that I just hate. There's the first scene, one of the first scenes I remember, I can recall, is, I believe it's Paul, and he is in his bedroom. He's recording himself like this so you can't see behind him. And there's a dark silhouette in the doorway, and he turns around when he notices it, and he just assumes it's one of his friends. He's like, "What's up, dude? You sleepwalking?" And I'm just like, "Oh man!" Like, because we know, guys, we all know from the beginning of the movie that these people are in a fucking haunted house. I mean, the movie's called House LLC, for fuck's sakes. But so we know there's something afoot. And he's just assuming that it's one of his friends just walking about, sleepwalking. I just love that scene. There's another scene where he's strolling about in the house, and he's just kind of getting footage. And he runs into one of his friends who's reading a book, and he asks them, "Hey, where's everybody at?" "Oh, 2 of them went out into town, and one's somewhere around here doing something." He's like, "All right." So Paul's just strolling about, and he walks up towards the basement, and in the doorway, the mannequin clown is just standing there. And you're just like, oh, and he's kind of just like, oh, he's assuming it's the other dude in the house, but it's not. We know it's not. And it's like, oh, what are you doing, man? What are you looking at? What, are you just standing there? And he points the camera down, and when he turns back to the fucking mannequin, who he's assuming is one of his friends in there, the mannequin's head is just turned right at him sideways. And he doesn't think anything of it. Like, I don't know. I'd be fucking freaking out. Even if it was my friend, I'd fucking just be freaking out about it. I guess this guy's got... But yeah, he doesn't think anything of it. He's like, all right, man, I'll catch you later. And he walks back to where his other friend was reading the book. And when he walks around that corner and he sees his friend right there, he sees the other guy that was supposed to be in the house just hanging about. And his reaction to seeing them two there and then realizing that who the fuck was wearing that clown outfit is just so genuine. He's just legit like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing here, dude? What the fuck? And he runs immediately back. The clown is gone, and he walks down to the basement, which is crazy. I don't think I would have even done that. And he walks down to the basement, and the clown is just back into its position where he is, and it just fucking, man, because we know, dudes. Oof. That fucking scene is so good to me. There's another good scene, I think. There's a strobe light scene. And again, it's not like, oh, he's being chased in this hallway. But they're testing out these strobe lights. So he gets locked in there, essentially. So there's 3 mannequins in there. But when the strobe lights start flickering on and off, he just starts seeing like more than 3 things in there. And he even asks, hey, how many of these mannequins do we have in here? And the strobe light keeps going, and you see glimpses of them. Like, you can see these fucking extra mannequins, like, look hella scary. And the guy's like, 3. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, we only have 3. And he freaks out. He's like, let me out. And, dude, because put yourself in that situation, in the situation when he's strolling about and he sees the clown standing up, and then he realizes it's not his friends in the clown outfit. Or put yourself in the strobe light situation. The situation where he's in his bedroom and he sees the dark silhouette. It's fucking so weird. There's a few times where they wake up to some noises in the middle of the night, and this mannequin is just out down at the bottom of the stairway. Like, who the fuck moved it there, dude? And they think it's Paul. They legit think it's this dude, like, playing a joke on him, I guess, because he seems unreliable. He seems like that, but fuck, man. Every time these damn clowns come on the screen, it just fucking freaks me out. And I personally just don't like clowns. I know a lot of people out there, clowns aren't scary. You're just stupid. But whatever, dude. Different strokes, you know? Another thing that I really, another scene, I'm just gonna go straight into my scenes because my likes are pretty much my scenes. A funny fucking scene that I absolutely love is in the beginning of the movie. They're all just hanging about. It's like a celebratory night. They're just happy that they're getting this going. They're doing this again. And they're all just reminiscing about like old haunts that they ran. They keep bringing up Queens, New York. There must have been something funny that just happened, or it just must have not been a good one. But they reference that throughout the movie. And in this night where they're just drinking, you know, celebrating, they talk about in New York they had hired this guy to play Lucifer, but he had such a strong accent, and I love this part. I don't know why. And they're just kind of like mimicking him. Welcome to Lucifer's cabin. And I don't know, there's something about that I just fucking love. Welcome to Lucifer's cabin. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know about...
Queens was actually pretty fucking sick, if you think about it. We actually had some good motherfucking times in Queens.
The guy that played Lucifer was the guy from like Queens. He had a really thick
He'd be like, yeah, welcome to Lucifer's cabin.
Lucifer's cabin.
Okay, so like I said, this movie's not perfect. There's like things that I don't understand. Here's a big spoiler, just in case if you haven't already figured it out. But okay, so we have this girl who contacted the journalist and gave her the footage, and she's one of the members of Hell House. And after their interview and everything, Sarah tells the journalist, hey, you should go to the house. And the journalist was like, well, no, it's like boarded up, you know, this and that. We've been trying to get a permit to go in there. And Sarah is just like, and this is all like the camera's down. They're not like filming anymore, so it's just kind of off screen, but you hear the audio still. You know what angle I'm talking about. And Sarah's just like, is that the only thing stopping you? Like, you should definitely go see it for yourself. Okay. They end up going to this house, and one of the people stay behind reviewing the tapes. And it's in this part where it kind of doesn't make sense, because we find out that Sarah, along with all the other crews of the people, ended up dying that night. So what we have is her ghost. So this happened 5 years ago. Okay, the incident at Hell House, and now the journalist. This is 5 years later. You would think that Sarah has been dead for 5 years, and this journalist who is obviously investigating this would have sense to try to contact the family, or just be like, well, aren't you dead? Like, haven't you been reported dead or missing, and now you're just saying that you've been with friends and family this whole time? It's just like, I feel like that's just a little plot hole. I had to like try to figure out what I don't like, and that's just something I noticed after rewatching this movie a few times. Maybe they said it and I fucking genuinely missed it, but that just doesn't make sense to me. This is that this person is supposed to have been missing for like 5 years, or dead, or supposedly dead, and she just contacts this journalist, and the journalist doesn't even question the fact that, where have you been? And she asks her, she's like, oh, I've just been with friends and family. But there should be information like all 5 of the Hell House members have not been located at all. So that's just like one little thing if I had to nitpick. I'd say another fucking thing I didn't like and I hate is, okay, it's just at the ending. It just feels very forced. You see like these things with like robes on them, and they kind of hint that there's some type of occult stuff going on. The previous owner of the hotel, Andrew Tully, he was like this occult guy and all this stuff, because they find like some type of devil worshipping shit in the basement when they first arrive. But just that whole stuff, and I'll try to get a picture or two. Just feels a little cheesy and forced. I mean, that's just me being like genuinely honest. I absolutely still recommend this movie 150%. But if I can just be honest about that, that's pretty much it for me. I mean, I'm sure people can find way more things to nitpick, or not even nitpick, and just flat out see a lot better than me. But I'm not. I just love found footage that much, especially this particular movie. So I can accept it for what it is and what it's trying to be, especially what this movie accomplished on its budget. And I just fucking, like, who cares? Because, like, my final thoughts, it's not an original story, for sure. You know, it's probably been done. It's some type of haunted house, some type of occult stuff integrated with that. So overall, I absolutely love this movie. Its sense of dread and tension is so on point, in my opinion, at least. Where you have the scenes with the clowns, I think that's just so good. Even though they're just clowns, it's done well, in my opinion. Especially with the budget this movie had, and just they actually shot in a actual haunted house attraction, which I thought was so cool too. So that gives you feel that too, like that's how it feels so like a haunted house, because this was an actual haunted house attraction. I forgot the name of it right off the top of my head, but I will try to look into that. And this abandoned house, when they first walked in, is absolutely creepy. I feel like, and I heard that his inspiration for the movie was mostly abandoned houses, and that's so fucking awesome. This guy loves found footage, and it shows in this movie overall. It's almost as if the house itself is like a fucking character, you know, in the movie. Like, it plays like a big role with, it's like fucking, it's got like all these endless hallways and just very creepy atmosphere. But absolutely, this is a must for all found footage fans. I've talked to people about this on Reddit. I've talked to people about this on Twitter. There are people that don't like the movie in particular, and I can completely understand that, because it does feel boring. It doesn't feel like there's nothing too fleshed out with the characters, and the logic of some of these people is just not there, and the choices they make and staying in the house. They get into it more why they're staying in the house instead of just booking it in the sequels, I believe. But I'd rather not go into that yet. But overall, man, this is a fucking fantastic movie, guys. Like, it's a personal favorite. I absolutely love it. I know I'm just kind of getting repetitive here, so I'm going to just end it with that. I'm trying to make these reviews a little shorter, because I felt like my last one was a little too long. So with that being said, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and happy spookies.